could be a man, if I could be a man.
Man, hopefully I don't say anything embarrassing for the whole internet to hear.
You just did it, bud.
I did?
Yes.
No, I don't eat toast. Just kidding.
Welcome back, everybody, to this weird, wacky, wild show.
Mm.
Fast Track,
Fast-
Fucked Up Fridays. I mean,
Yeah.
Feedback Fridays. And we're back to give you feedback. Hopefully that's constructive and as useful as possible on your music. As we do, we've got a little bit of a queue, some of which is from recent weeks. We've had a bit of a rocky schedule, which hopefully should improve. But yeah, we're here and we've got some room in the queue. So as always, if anybody wants to submit, the link to that is on the overlay and in the chat as
Oh
of
baby, oh baby,
as
oh
of
baby, oh baby.
right
oh baby.
about
That was the wrong one.
almost there.
That was the wrong one. There
Sort
it
of
is.
maybe now in the chat. So if you want to submit your song to get reviewed, we review every track that is submitted. And if the queue fills up, we've only got about a little bit more than maybe a half queue right now. If that fills up, you can donate to skip the line. That link is in the chat as well. And otherwise, I guess we can get into it.
Yeah. Let's feed on that back.
Yes. That sounded
I
kind
know,
of nasty.
that's why I said it. Welcome to Feedback Fridays, everybody. We got three
First
people.
one's not found.
Beautiful. Alien GF. Man, it sounded
People revoking
fantastic.
their in progress tracks, which totally makes sense, but
It wasn't in progress,
bad.
though.
Oh, that one was released?
Yeah.
Guess it's not released anymore.
Damn, bro. It's like they packaged that shit back up. That's a recall.
Interesting.
All right. I guess we'll go instead of KHD. Let us know, KHD, you were next, and then now you're gone, bro. Friend of the stream. They've submitted before. But okay. Black Book is next then, and then we got Ed Sheeran to round it out.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll go Black Book then. Song title: Reflection. Finished release. Description says, "It's raw phoric like. It's good. Finished product." We'll be the judge of that. No, I'm sure. I'm sure. Raw phoric. That's a new genre I've heard. But you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Reflection. 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute.
What?
Look at the profile picture. We know this guy.
Oh yeah, we do. Interesting sound there.
Reflection.
I swear his name was different. It wasn't Black Book.
There is nothing stronger than music to
I
reflect
think
our
it was
emotion.
Black Book, but his
Feelings for music
the profile
is the
picture got
only
moved on the
thing
page
setting
layout.
us free from commotion. Listening to music is a reflection of your conscious mind. Reflection.
Pretty piercing.
Reflection.
What in the fuck is that kick?
I love it. It's like a flipping hammer.
Reflection. Reflection.
That last drum, the boom, that had like the only kind of body a kick should have. Yeah, bass.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn, I had to turn way down.
yeah, I just turned down too. Black Book. I swear your name was different just like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. I mean, in the submission form, it's the same.
Jules Rose, we got your submission.
Oh,
Thank
sweet.
you, sorry, what'd you say?
Just that his name was Black Book in our previous submissions.
You're right. What the heck? Why does it seem so different to
So
me?
I think why it seems different is because the SoundCloud page layout changed.
Right, right. Which is interesting in itself.
Maybe it was one word. I don't know. Maybe a different name on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
Not
I
sure.
don't know. Maybe it was Black Book. Okay. All right. What do you got? Vibes?
Yeah,
Mr.
I mean, so I think if I remember correctly, the reason that he sent us this is because he sent us something else that we didn't like very much or something,
Mhm.
or that we thought was not something genre related. Didn't make sense or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was weird, I think, and we wanted
Mhm.
him to send something that was more like a song that you're trying to release to get people to listen to, kind of like more straight ahead.
Oh, the last one he released was like a classic hardstyle, like Inner World.
Oh,
Like,
that one, yeah, which is a
yeah,
little bit meme worthy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
so,
just like the
anyways,
genre, though. Yeah,
yeah, he sent this. This it says it's from 2 years ago, so
yeah,
it's I guess he was like, well, I made this like back then, and this was more of an honest attempt at like a EDM song or whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Still definitely hardstyle. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit Simon Cowell on this first one
Go
and
for it.
just say I don't like it. I
Sure.
just think it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like there's some elements here that are valid and like salvageable, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But like the structure doesn't make any sense. It felt way longer, like it felt really long, and
Yeah.
it's only 3:42, which is like a pretty normal like song length by traditional standards.
Yeah. Maybe even a little
So
long. Yeah.
maybe a little
I
long
felt.
for this genre or whatever, but
Yeah. I got the. I'm bored of this feeling around 3 minutes, but that's pretty deep in. I don't know.
I don't know. I was like, why am I listening to this? As soon as that weird like wah,
Come, come,
wah,
come.
wah, like that well that was
Oh,
even
the
worse.
lead. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the lead sound, I'm like, this better like do something interesting or be cool somehow.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm like, what is this goofy ass sound?
Damn, bro. That
I don't
bad,
know.
huh?
It's just like, is that appealing to anyone? Like, I don't know. I think that there's much better lead sounds that are more just pleasing to the ear.
Yeah.
So I didn't love that. And then obviously like that kick thing, I think it was taking the role of a kick, like
Mhm.
musically, structurally, but it didn't like why? Like why that sound? It was so not obviously not a kick.
Yeah.
And there was no kick to supplement it. So there's
Yeah,
just
they
no
usually they
grounding.
usually layer that sound with like a bass that's
Yeah,
like
you
pretty
could layer it.
rumbly. Yeah,
Yeah. You could
but
layer it probably.
that didn't happen. In fact, it was like a weird sidechained uh bass that was happening. So it was like gong gong wo gong wo gong wo. It was just like separate. Like they should sound together in my opinion, but it was very separate. Like almost where it was like jarring. Like it wasn't doing what a kick should do, which is like give like some foundation to it.
Some oomph. It
Yeah, it was
was
just
like
like
a
it was like
it
weird,
was weird. Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like that's the kind of the bread and the butter of the hardstyle genre. The leads, like, okay, maybe they could be a little goofy. The melodies are definitely like very melodramatic and like cinematic and stuff. So like, okay, we get a pass. We had the same like vocal that was just kind of a weird like, oh, it's the consciousness of your mind. It's like, okay, 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 I get it. This is like part of the genre. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But if you get the meat and potatoes wrong, that's where I'm like, all right, I gotta put my hard style foot down here. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. There's some cool stuff to it, but I think overall, yeah, I wouldn't say like I absolutely like this one. So um, What do you have for score for vibes?
Yeah, score for vibes. I think I would say like 20% between yellow and green.
I think his production definitely got better as well. Like
Well, I don't think it got better.
from
It's
this
just
point,
older.
from this point. That's what
Oh,
I
you
mean.
mean
Like,
from this point on?
yeah, yeah.
I see.
I think it was like a clear difference.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah. So vibes for me, I'll say 30% between green and yellow. Um, what do you have for us next? Content.
Content.
You,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you brought up the point about the melody. I think the melody wasn't bad. Like, it's a little bit of an earworm.
yeah.
Still have a little bit of that going on, but
Mhm.
it's like structurally, it's just so repetitive, right? And
Yeah.
it's like repetitive, and then that loud fucking synth comes in that's just like so piercing and overly bright. And I
Mhm.
had to turn down like
I
7.
turned down. Yeah.
Oh god, not another one of these. It's one of those sounds where you almost like no matter how much you turn down, it still feels too loud.
Yeah.
so so that was not great. And then just the song structure again, it was just like repetitive. There wasn't a lot of like interesting dynamic logic to it,
Yeah.
and like that modulation was just like, oh cool, it modulated, but like it didn't like really add anything. It was just like, oh well, this is just the same thing repeated again but modulated up like a half step or whatever the hell it was.
Mhm.
um so I don't know, I just that's probably my biggest critique is the song structure.
Mhm.
And because that's what makes it interesting, like you've got a decent melody there, but I don't like the lead instrument that's playing the melody. And
Yep.
then the structure is just repetitive and doesn't really have a lot of zest to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe the modulation could have only happened once, and it could have happened earlier. Like finish the song off earlier.
Yeah,
But yeah, I could
and
agree
that
with all
too.
those points. And you did talk about the kick sound. I
Yeah,
kind of like the kick
content.
sound, like the top one, the top or the higher frequency. But yeah, only if it's layered with like an actual like boomy sub bass that rattles my cans.
Hmm.
That's kind of what people listen to hardstyle for. I imagine. Like if you see the people dance to it, it's like the shuffle dance, and like you're stomping your feet to it. You
Yeah.
know, like you can't do it to like this little weenie hut junior fucking kick. It's like a. It reminds me of like those rubber mallets, like those red rubber toy hammers. I don't know if you've seen them. It might be a Japanese thing, but it's like these toy little
I
hammers
think I've
that
seen that. Yeah.
that
Oh
when you
yeah, I've
hit it,
seen
it
that.
squeaks. It's
I've
like
seen
keep
that.
keep. That's like what
That's
that
what it
reminded
was.
me of. That's
Yeah.
what it reminded me of. So it's cute, but maybe not the thing you're
Like,
going for.
yeah, you take that and then you just compress it a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But with no bass, it's just like yeah, it doesn't hit. Quite literally. So yeah, I did think that the melody was an earworm as well. Also the vocals, it felt like they were like it felt like they were slowed down, which is interesting. It was already like kind of a monotone delivery, so it wasn't compelling to listening to, and it felt like it was like slowed down. So it was just like weirdly, it was uncanny. It wasn't like oh this is slow mo, this is cool for the effect of slow mo. It was like why is she talking so slow?
Yeah.
It was just like weird.
She having a
Um,
stroke?
yeah, maybe not that far, but
Yeah.
it sounded like it was like processing wise, like the producer slowed it down for some reason to maybe fit what he was going for. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So overall content, I think it's like 25 between green and yellow here. What about you?
Um. Yeah, I think you said 25. I mean, my one saving grace is like that the earwormness of the melody.
Hmm.
I think everything else could use somewhat of an overhaul.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm gonna say also 20% between yellow and green.
cool. Production.
Yeah, production. The obvious parts, like it's sort of like Maslow's hierarchy, right? It's like if you're physically hurting someone's ears, there should be like a Maslow's hierarchy of mixing. That'd be
Hmm.
cool. But like the lowest level is like it meet the minimum viable threshold of human hearing, right? So it's like it has to be not too quiet because that's like a threshold element. If somebody is listening to tracks at the same volume, they come in and yours is too quiet, it's going to limit their ability to absorb your song, right? So it can't be too quiet, but obviously it can't be too loud, and there can't be harshness that hurts people's ears.
Mm-hmm.
So like it has to be suitable at a baseline for listening non-painfully and non-strainfully, right? Now you're not hitting that because you're on the loud side of the spectrum and the bright side, where that synth is super bright. Like other stuff, it just the whole overall balance is very compressed and loud.
Yep.
So that's sort of, you need to defeat that before you can move up to like, do the sounds fit together well? Like, are they not clashing with each other? Like, are the different individual components pleasing, and do they fit together well? Like, how do the dynamics work together? And at the top of that pyramid, I guess you'd have like the perfect balance of all of those components and tying into potentially the composition too. That's where it gets complex. But yeah, I think that's kind of my main takeaway with production, and like content maybe was more about that weird kick thing, but yeah, that's the main thing. Do you have any other thoughts?
I just wanted to poke fun at Black Book a little bit because the last two songs that they sent us, the last time we were here, they were like, "Oh yeah, I mix like with this like limiter on, just to make sure I understand the ballpark what it looks like at a festival. The final mix is different." Well, this is the final mix, and lo and behold, it has the same problems that we talked about before, which is way too bright, way too loud, like very compressed. And this is your final mix, so there's no excuses here.
Mm,
So yeah, I agree with everything that Josh said, and we already talked about like some of the production stuff on the kick, so I'll avoid redundancy here, and then ask for your final score. What do you got for production?
yeah, I think for production, I would say it could be worse, probably just
Yeah,
mix wise. It's really
definitely.
that brightness. It's the issue. But again, it is a hierarchy where it's like, if there's an audible, like the listenability is physically difficult. I don't know. Like if you make that less bright, I don't know if it's going to sound like it's mixed well, because
Hmm.
it's all being masked, right? I have to, if I have to turn down
Through the
7
pain.
decibels, I don't know what's underneath it really.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of assuming. But I guess for
Shout out Twitch
production,
Rocker, by the way. Sorry.
yeah, I guess. Did the form come through? Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah.
Um, for production, I'm gonna say I'll be generous. How about 30% between yellow and green?
Okay. Yeah, I could get down with that. I'll go 27
Okay.
between yellow and green. Overall, that puts me at 27 between yellow and green. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 25 between yellow and green.
There you go. All right, Black Book. Um,
Keep
show
it
us a
up.
recent one. Yeah, but keep it up. I do think you have a ear for melody, and you do a lot of cool production stuff too. Like the stuff in the beginning, like that little was a cool sound. But yeah,
Yeah.
just too so damn loud.
And I guess on the bright side, you are row number 420 in our spreadsheet here.
There you
So
go. Yeah,
congrats on that.
yeah. We couldn't have it any other way, for real.
Yes.
All right, so we got Black Book. We have. Wait a minute, Welly.
Yeah.
Twitch Rock.
Welly's
Welly,
up
is
in
that
here.
you?
Well,
Twitch Rocker.
that came in before Twitch Rocker said feedback. So
Okay, shut
Welly's
up.
here too. There he is.
What? Welly! Yo, what's up? Good to hear from you, man. Man, Welly dropping shit? Okay, work in progress, work in progress. Okay. Alright, so we just did Black Book. It's Shide is next. Jules Rose, we got you. Welly. Mad Roads, we just got you. Is that Twitch Rocker? I made the song last night. Fire. Are you. Wait, is it new production? New Welly sound? Hybrid Pop? Did you. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, we have Ed Shide, Jules Rose, Welly, and Mad Roads. So that queue's filling up, guys. If you want to get to the front, you know what to do. Tip to skip. $5 minimum. We'll get you played right here, right now, because it's filling up. Sure. So you want to do Ed Shide next?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's get through this queue then. So, oh shit, is this a Spotify link? No, it's a SoundCloud. What the hell? Oh, I clicked on Jules Rose. My bad. All right. So it's Shide. It's a work in progress. Agree to disagree. They wrote a song about my annoyance, how it seems like, especially in politics, it's more about disagreeing with each other than actually fixing any of the major issues going on. Alright, this is based.
Very
It
true.
mostly came from a chord. Avenged Sevenfold used. I knew it! Okay.
Oh,
I
I
knew
heard
that,
keyboard.
yeah, I knew that Avenged Sevenfold was a huge influence of this person. I really liked, so I figured I'd use it too. There's no fancy jazz drum beats going on. Okay, good. Working on fixing that now because particularly my songs start more singer-songwriter-esque than full band. And for the mixing, I used Wave Studio Verse. I never heard of Wave Studio Verse. Get some plug-in chains, then try to tweak it a bit. Less treble for the lead guitar. Kick was a bit too boomy for me originally. Okay, cool. That was a very in-depth analysis of your own track.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, but agree to disagree. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, it's shit. 3, 2, 1.
Nice slow jam.
Yeah, I think the drums could be louder.
Most people argue over small little things. Goes on and on. It gets under skin. Topics
You think these are real drums?
Football to politics.
I don't know.
Music too. For most, there's a solid hit.
Doesn't really sound that mixed to me.
Agree to
Nope.
disagree. That's what we do. For most things, that's fine. But for some, it crosses a line. Agree to disagree.
I don't think they're real drums.
It can be a troubling sign.
I could agree to disagree.
It
I agree.
won't
I think
fix
so.
the issues, and everyone will lose.
That snare, I think, is what gives it away.
Yeah, it was like the snare sounds too good. And then the cymbal came in, I'm like, that's fake. Oh, that's a nice thing there.
Was that like a violin?
There are so many problems on this planet.
I think the
everyone
vocals
knows.
Or maybe a little bit loud.
Arguing won't fix them, and we may lose our hope. Agree to disagree. That's what we do. For most things, that's fine, but for some, it crosses the line.
I feel like the lyrics are too
Agree
literal.
to disagree. It can be a troubling sign. It won't fix the issues, and everyone will lose. Global warming is real, and so is hunger.
What?
Yet there are people who make it last longer. Think of the poverty and people without homes. The selfishness should stop. All that's left will be bones.
I definitely think the drums sound much more realistic than before, and they meld into the track better. There we go. Yeah. He's a shredder.
Agree to disagree.
Man, I feel like it
That's
doesn't
what
fit.
we do. For most things,
vibe,
that's
though.
fine. But for
Sort of
some,
Pink
it
Floyd-ish.
crosses the line.
I see.
Agree to disagree.
Wow, when you
It
say
can
that,
be
I
a
think of it.
troubling sign. It won't fix the issues, and everyone will lose.
It took me a sec to get through that form. Why does it sound like CPU is getting wrecked? Brother, it's really
Yeah,
choppy.
I was going to ask about
CPU
that.
time.
Did it Twitch Rocker, did it sound like that at the end still? Because I don't know why it would sound like that. I'm not having any CPU issues right now. And
Yeah.
it's streaming through a cloud thing. So the only area that there'd be error is between the browser share and the cloud service. But
Right.
also, so the other reason it could be is because the audio is kind of quiet and maybe it's trying to bring the audio up or something, but I don't know why it'd be doing that.
Throughout the whole song. Fuck. What about now? What about our voices?
Yeah,
Thanks,
do
Twitch
our
Rocker, by the way.
voices sound normal?
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. Are you Matt Rhodes? By the way, let us know, because we have your submission. Sounded like CPU chopping when you have massive projects.
No.
Roy. What about now? Your voice. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I can try to restart the screen share, but I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, good. We have your submission by the way. Hopefully, it doesn't do it with the rest of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Were you here with the other song? Let
Yeah.
us
Did
know.
you hear the last one? Did it sound normal? Maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we all agree instead of disagree there. But agree to disagree. What do you think? Vibes?
Yeah. No, I like the intent behind it and the vibes. I think same type of CPU tear. What you heard that in the last one too.
Motherfucker.
It's definitely not actually CPU tear because there's no intensive CPU stuff happening right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'll try to reshare. But anyways, just impressions, I guess. I like the vibe he's going for. It's always like refreshing to hear. Yeah, we can't check the stream. We don't have any specific settings because again, it's a cloud-based service. It's not one of the desktop ones, so it's not really something that we can do much about. Hopefully, it'll improve when I reshare though. But it's not CPU for sure.
Yeah, he's working on
Um,
it.
anyways, no, it's a browser-based stream platform.
Light stream. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think I like the intent. It's always more difficult to like record real instruments as like a band, especially when it's just you, because you may not play all the instruments. So if you're programming in like drums and stuff, you might not have as good of an ear for like the timing and feel, and or you might be using, uh, you know, drums that don't sound realistic. I didn't think these drums didn't sound realistic or at least passable for somebody who's not focusing on that. I think my bigger high level take is like the mixing just isn't really there across the whole track. So that goes for the drums as
Yeah.
well as the vocals and just like fitting all the pieces together. And again, that's really common for when you have real recorded instruments because they tend to be less like packaged and ready to go when you're recording them straight in. So it requires a little bit more of a mixing lift. But other than that, I mean, I like the song. I did feel like the first half went by a little bit slow. I was sort of
Yeah.
like waiting for something to happen. Um, I wasn't completely convinced, if I'm being honest, by like your vocals at all points.
Mhm.
Part of that might be the like delivery, like the recording setup and mixing, because they sound like you're very like close to the mic and not really like blended well into the instrumental. So that can always make vocals seem more amateur if they're like not sitting well in the track.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wasn't super. You were probably paying attention to lyrics more than I was. I was a bit distracted with other stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Definitely
um,
was.
so yeah, what are your thoughts?
Uh, the lyrics are like I was like it's like kind of for lack of a better word corny, like very literal, but also not very specific. It's like people argue, people
Yeah,
the world is on fire. It wasn't even like on fire, like because that'd be like interesting, but it was just like there's homeless people.
do you
If
think
you
it's like
argue,
an
they'll
English?
die. It might be, yeah, it might be, which is tough, but it's like I'm sure they have a similar thing, and I think he's Italian, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. But yeah, so I don't know, just like I don't think that there's maybe I was like maybe it's like Clay Aiken would write a song like this or something, but even like the give a little bit, it's like give a
yeah.
little bit of my love, like it was kind of like that, but like worse, you know. And
Mm,
if
simplistic.
it was simplistic, but it was like it just seemed very surface level, very broad, and it wasn't very. There was no metaphors. It wasn't very artistic or creative sounding. It was just like don't argue, nothing will get done. And it's like 3
Yeah,
minutes of that? Yeah.
I,
BRB
I
1 minute. Okay.
yeah. I
So,
sort of think just on that thread, I feel like for a song like this, like both given your musical style and your vocal style and the song, like you might benefit from trying to write a little bit more abstractly and
yes.
not so literal. And I think that will help with like some of the language barrier stuff too. Because if you're not trying to be like grammatically correct and it's more abstract and like you're not trying to create like perfect grammatical phrases, but you're trying to create lyrical phrases, which is a different thing. then it might blend more seamlessly and be less obvious to like native speakers that are like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because if it's abstract, it doesn't really need to make like perfect grammatical sense, but it needs to sound phonetically interesting, or like the concept needs to be interesting.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and there's a lot of examples of like people saying "f you" to politicians in like a very artful way. So like, uh, look up like who's it? Who's that fucking band? Rage Against the Machine. Like,
Mm.
yeah, they do not like fucking established government or whatever. Like, check them out and like listen to what they say. They don't like they don't keep it like calm and I mean you could do it calm, but like they don't keep it so concrete.
Yeah.
They make you feel something, and that it's not cringe. But on the flip side of things, I think in terms of the drums fitting with the guitar, I think this is probably the best I've heard from you so far, because the one that you talked about with the jazz drums, how it did not fit at all with that like steady, maybe offbeat, heavy guitar that you sent us last time. Like that was like everybody was out of time and
Yeah.
styles were not together. There were two different bands playing. This one I think was much more cohesive. I like the guitar as usual. I think you do a fantastic job, and I could tell that's your specialty. You shredded here, and you like took us to a place where like, oh, the energy is gonna go up, which Avenged Sevenfold does, by the way. But then you come back to the agree to disagree. It was just like
Yeah.
you built me up for nothing, man. Maybe that's like a content thing, but yeah, that's like all the different vibes that I'm feeling of this. We have different categories for a reason, but I think the biggest thing for me, for you as an artist, I thought it was like a massive improvement in the drums, cohesiveness with everything. There's still problems there, but I think it was one of the best I've heard from you. So kudos. But also the lyrics, like I couldn't help but cringe, when I hear some of it. Uh, I think your singing is decent, but it's like with the literalness of it and like just kind of corny. It was just like hard to get through.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. But yeah. So overall vibes, I'm at like 10% between green and yellow. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I think probably vibes is the category that I would rate the highest, because I think like the intent, I can see the intent is there, and like some of the stuff you're doing, I think could be really cool with some improvements.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah. You know what? I think the instrumental puts it up to a 50, and then
Mhm.
for the lyrics come in, it's to a 10. Like it's that like affected for me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So, well, would you have like an aggregate score then of those?
my aggregate is a 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no weight for the instrumental.
There is. My thing with it, if it's just the vocals, it's like in the red probably or in the orange.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna say for vibes, it's like a 30% between yellow and green for me.
Yeah.
Because I like the intent that's there, but I think it's like realistically, if I were to listen to this, I would be like, yeah, the vibes ain't there yet.
Yeah.
So, for the reasons that we talked about. But then for content, I mean, again, I think we talked about song structure. It's kind of like it goes on for, you know, that first half kind of just meanders a lot, it
Yeah.
feels like. And then it gets interesting. There's like the solo and like, energy starts changing and whatnot. But maybe have less verse. That might help. Just like less slow, kind of not super interesting lyrics, and also working on the lyrics to make them, again, like we said, like more flashy, like more potentially abstract, if that helps you, or like making sure that things sound grammatically correct and or not super like elementary,
Yeah.
just make like more
I was
interesting.
thinking like, oh, maybe you could write kids songs, but it's like, do you want to write kids songs?
I'm guessing no, but maybe
Yeah.
that could be a
Maybe
good lesson to kids about how politics is.
hug it out,
Yeah.
everybody.
You're gonna inspire the next great generation of politicians.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and again, what else for content? I mean, the
I thought the
playing,
guitar was awesome.
yeah,
Like it
no,
gave me a Midwest emo vibe that I
you're
really like.
definitely, sounds like you're a guitar player first and foremost, which makes sense. And it was a cool solo. There's one bit at the end. I don't want
Solo's
to
cool.
give any specific advice because I'd have to go back again. But at the end, it does some sort of chord change or modulation or something. And something about the way that the guitar solo led into that was a little bit jarring. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Maybe the way the solo ended, I can't remember. But
Yeah.
otherwise, like great tone. That's really good tone, guitar tone, and a good, a nice solo. I
Yeah.
would say throughout, there's a little bit of this before, but definitely a little bit messy on some of the playing. It doesn't always feel like it's super well synced up or in the pocket. And that's kind of the next step, is like not just getting it to be in time, but for things to feel good and to feel like in the pocket and the subdivisions to be lined up, to some sort of groove, I guess.
You're saying the drums, or just
In
everything?
everything. Yeah, kind of
Oh.
everything. Just doesn't feel like it's a band, right? It feels like somebody who can half play. And I'm guilty of this too. Like I've been guilty of this before, but like you have to make sure you don't sound like somebody who can only half or quarter play these instruments that you're putting together, and that they don't sound like unaware of each other. That's
Yeah.
that's a hard thing, because if they're not playing at the same time, and if you're not a stellar musician at those instruments, it's going to sound like you don't know what you're doing, and they're going to be out of sync, and it won't be convincing. So I think
Yeah.
that's the hardest, again, like unique challenges with recording music like this, where you're playing the instruments physically and they're physical instruments, is that it's difficult to get the timing right and actually play them well.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to make them sound mixed well. It's like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Shit, Ed, we're telling you, bro. You gotta form a band with somebody. You gotta find a drummer. Take that
Find-
musical Tinder out. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
guys just need a
doesn't
jam.
even need
Shout
to
out
be
Twitch
like
Rocker too for the feedback in the chat. Sorry.
yeah.
Appreciate that. It needs more separation between sections. What I heard was smooth sailing throughout the whole thing, without any turnaround points. I could agree with that. Especially at the ending. Yeah, you built us up and then went back to the same old thing. So. Sorry, I cut you off, Judge.
No, I think I don't remember what I was talking about actually.
Oops,
But
sorry.
is there anything else with content you wanted to comment on?
I'm trying to think of anything else that I haven't said. I said stuff about the lyrics already. That was the biggest thing. We just talked about. I talked about the build up being weird. I mean, it was a good build up. It's just like weird that it went back to the chorus and it just wasn't very compelling. Especially if I didn't like the lyrics of the chorus. Guitar, I think, was really cool. Vibe Midwest emo kind of was pretty cool. I saw the Pink Floyd-esque vocals, which is kind of cool. Cool style. It's just the lyrics were just so dragging me down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I can buy grade it once again. It's like instrumental and stuff. I think it's like maybe 55 between green and yellow. It's pretty good. The cohesiveness is a big factor, but I think it's like the best that you've shown us so far. So you're improving, but yeah, it's not quite there yet. I could hear it definitely in the fills of the drums. I think the main drum groove was decent, but yeah, the fills of the drums, it felt like either you sped up or things stuck out in the subdivisions. If it's with the vocals though, I'd probably put it to like 20% between green and yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm also thinking about the the drums, and again, it might take deeper analysis, but just like I think they were like I remember them being pretty much in time, but I don't know if I ever remember thinking that's a really good sounding drum groove, right?
Yeah.
Like that sounds like really in the pocket. There's like good stuff going on. It was
Yeah.
sort of like the bare minimum, or maybe just below the bare minimum for like to sound really good. So again, like I think if these are e-drums, knowing how to quantize and humanize well is like your best shot pretty much, or getting better at the drums and just nailing out perfect takes and doing section by section, putting them together, that kind of stuff. But it takes extra work to get there for sure, again because of the genre that you're in, but it's necessary. Otherwise it's just not like, it doesn't match up to the expectations that listeners have basically.
Yeah.
So
You'll hear it right away.
yeah.
I mean, that's what we did do, right? Like, as soon as we started listening, we're like, is that real drums?
Yeah,
We don't know.
yeah, a little bit of uncanniness maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about ratings for content? What do you think?
Oh, I said 20.
20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's with the vocals. With just the instrumental, I put it up to like 60.
I mean, yeah, I think I could say 20 as well for
Yeah.
between yellow and green.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's about the sounds. Well, not really the sounds as much. The sounds are actually decent, but the structure of the song. How long is it? Is it interesting? Are the lyrics good?
How the recording.
How's the playing? Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yep, I agree. That's what I'm at too. 20. So production, what do you got?
Yeah, and then production. I think it's a big challenge here. The vocals sound very present. Like you might want to try recording a little bit further back from your mic, because otherwise yeah, there's that proximity effect, and it sounds amateur a little bit.
Yep.
So record a little bit further back if you can, and then try to just like seat that mix wise in the song better. You don't want it to be too loud, and like the presence thing will help with that, with not being too close. But that's one of the biggest things that I heard. It made the lyrics that were not like, perfect sort of more noticeable as well. And I think like the drums need to sound really impactful, particularly the kick and the snare. The snare, I think, came through decently, still not enough, probably. It needs to be more compressed, maybe layered, so that you've got like two snares that play at the same time with the MIDI and just sound fatter, and like maybe put it through a reverb bus. Like don't overdo it, but just to add some sort of room around the stuff, and maybe putting multiple instruments through the same reverb bus at whatever amounts sound right.
Yep.
And then what else? I mean, guitars didn't sound bad.
I feel like the drum set could have been stereo panned a little bit too.
Yeah,
I felt like it was all down the middle.
It sounded like it was in the back, also because it was just
Also in the back.
quieter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really about like getting stuff to sound more present and more crisp, because generally you tend to have issues by default with recorded instruments in muddiness and like presence or crispness. That's like, it's usually you got to balance out some of the low mids that are sort of building up between different instruments and just making the whole thing sound muddy. And then you often have to add some compression to bring out some of that detail, which naturally tends to make things sound a little bit brighter. And then manage your EQ and make sure nothing's like too bright, but make things sound crisp. The dynamics need to be beefy and not sound like they haven't been mixed yet, which basically means you need some compression on most things when they're like live recorded instruments. It's usually the case.
Yeah, and they did talk about the kick being boomy. I heard that, and I think it's still boomy.
Yeah.
So you got to fix it. So if you're recording it, would you have any tips on fixing a boomy kick for recording, like a different position?
For recording, I mean,
is it just EQ?
It depends a lot of things with recording, like where the mic is placed. Is it inside of the kick or is it outside? If it's outside, I mean, generally getting closer to the edge of the drum will help with making it sound a little bit less boomy, or having a mic that is on the beater side of the drum that sort of picks up some of the beater. And there's different, like if you have like a shotgun mic that's more directional, you can try using that, although it's usually a condenser and it's difficult to find a good mic for that. But yeah, if you have like an SM50 or what is it, like a 58A beta, no, beta 82A, I forget what the round looking one is that's made for kick drums, but like
I remember.
it's a pretty affordable mic, I think.
Jess has one.
Yeah, so that's like a great kick mic, but whatever you have, it is definitely about the mixing component too. You can try just like chancing it and using two mics and then like picking the one that has the better signal after you record it, or blending them. You can often like blend and get like best of both worlds depending on where they're placed. But really focusing on like dipping out the super boomy frequencies as much as you have to, and increasing the beater frequencies, not like drastically, but so that it at least comes through the mix and can be felt, underneath all the other instruments. So
look at this Twitch rocker guy. Oh, crazy. Look at this feedback. We love it. Position of the mic. Boominess. 95% of the time is just bad reflection and room for.
It's often, like if you're in a small room or you're like near a wall or a corner, and you have a big kick, especially if it's a large drum, you're going to have a lot of issues with just the resonant frequencies in the room and all of that stuff. It can make a huge difference also, like a couple inches of placement difference, because bass frequencies can build up in like room modes where you might move a foot to one direction and have like a total lack of bass. and then move a foot in the other direction and have like a super buildup. It's actually kind of cool. You can like start like a low frequency tone generator on your speakers and then move around the room. And you should be able to hear like areas where it's way quieter, like I don't know how many decibels, but like really significantly quieter. And then areas where it's really significantly louder when you kind of focus in with one, static frequency that's low. Kind
Should
of a
be
fun
crazy.
experiment to do. Yeah.
For sure.
Sound is wild.
For sure. Production score.
I think this one is probably develop for me, just straight ahead develop.
I agree. I think so too. I think it needs the most room.
Yeah. And then
EQ, transient shaper, EQ. Works well with down.
Yeah, transient shapers can help with this kind of thing too. And you can try that signal chain EQ to really get like the crap out of it, right? Then transient shaper to like shape it and like get closer, and then EQ to put the final touches on and remove any unwanted artifacts from that transient shaper.
This guy, I can't wait to hear his music.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about.
Better be good.
Yeah. All this hype, bro. Better not disappoint. No, we believe you. Okay, overall, for me, I think I'm at 15. 15 between green and yellow.
Yeah, I think I'll say 20 because I like the idea behind it and the intent. But it's about the execution of like, stuff's got to be played well. Lyrics have to be appealing and also make sense, but not be too basic.
Yeah.
And mixing really needs to be a key focus in a recorded track like this, where it matters a lot. It takes a lot of work.
Yep. Thank you, Ichide. Keep working on it. Find yourself a drummer. Dude, find yourself a band, man. You guys, you are shredding too hard on the guitar to just be playing your own drums,
Yeah, for real.
But okay, let's see if this share works real quick. If you can, like, play something real quick in Twitch Rocker, if you can let us know. Because we have Jules Rose, we have Welly, and then Matt Rhodes.
Yeah,
let
me maybe, I don't know which song to do though. I don't want to do the same one because maybe it's something weird with that track.
Do that the first one. That one was really loud.
But we just did that one too here. Here's another one that's from.
Okay. Hello?
Side right now.
Well, your audio just was like super weird.
My audio is weird?
It was weird. No, it's fine now.
Hey, your name, I don't know what.
He said CPU tear.
Let me see. Keep playing it. I have Twitch pulled up.
Played the game, my heart broke into two. Walking away across the room. The Uber's called, I don't know what to do.
Sounds weird.
Yeah. It might be like a fuck. Hold on. I was talking to you like your delayed Twitch, Josh, and it was just fucking jarring. Also, I wonder if my audio sounds just like terrible. That might just be what it is. But it sounds like a sampling rate issue, like a sampling rate mismatch. That's what it sounds like to me. It's like very choppy. It's like da-da-da-da, but like the whole song is playing, but it's like skipping every X number of samples or something. So it's like stuttery.
All right, let me try doing this in a new tab. I don't know hopefully the stream will survive. But in the meantime, Chris, do you want to mention the announcement?
Oh shit! All right, I do this now. Okay, 6 people in the chat. All right, guys. So this FastTrack feedback stream, believe it or not, it's not the only thing that we do, and it might not even be the primary thing that we do. What we're trying to do is make a web platform. Boom! Right there, new website. We're making a platform for musicians to go on, manage their projects, get feedback from professionals, as well as other artists, kind of like what we're doing here. In a format that makes sense. That's why we're doing this vibes, content production, all this stuff. We want to make it easy for you guys to, manage your music projects, your collaborations, all the different stems, anything like that. And if you're looking for new band members like Ichide, meet some people that could be a session drummer or session guitarist. We're trying to work on that. That's like the primary project of FastTrack Music. So if you guys are interested in that, if anything like that sounds cool, go into that website. Sign up for the beta. You can actually do it through our feedback form as well, and we'll start letting people in now that we're finishing up the product. So, how's that spiel? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I was half paying attention. I mean, basically
Josh?
the idea is.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Check. He's gone. All right, I guess it's just me.
Oh no, I was in
Yeah,
the
there.
stream, but not the little light stream room.
Okay, I
But you
see.
can hear me now, right?
Yes.
So yeah, no, that was good. Good job. But
All right, put me in the hot seat.
yeah, basically, I mean, you can get feedback from industry professionals on your music in like a visual way. So you can store all your feedback and track your progress. Also, track your projects and make it easier to release music. So that's the platform we're working on. If you want to sign up, it's free. FastTrack.studio. Be one of the first users. Help us build it out. Let us know when stuff doesn't work, that kind of thing. And yeah, we'd love to have you there.
It'll be fun.
So that's that. All right, I'm in a new tab here, new window. Let's try a couple things. Let's try doing this in a new
If you have any analytic plugins open with linear mode, that might cause it.
analytic plugins with linear mode. I wonder if this will let me share an incognito tab. Let's find out, folks. And then we will be autoplay. Then we will be on to Jules Rose.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold up.
And let us know if you're here. Let us know in the chat if you made it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I can't tell which one's which because I have 3 of these open.
Welly says I'm here. Thanks, Welly.
Welcome, Welly.
Are you Jules? Am I next or not? You're next. You're next after Jules Rose. So you have Jules Rose, Welly, and Mad Rhodes. That's what we got.
Okay.
Welly, I'm here. We love you, bro.
Got this new screen share.
Yeah, let us know if this works, y'all.
So new window, new share window. Hopefully it should work. All right, updating stream. And I'll try to play that other track really quick just to see if it's working.
Yeah.
All right, let us know.
I'll listen to it. That's... Wait, that might sound good.
Works.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Go.
All right, so I don't know what the hell happened, but
Exactly.
sweet. Okay.
It's just
Good
how
to
it
know.
is.
Dope.
All
Okay,
right.
so we got that. That's awesome. And we're ready to go into Jules Rose.
Cool. All right, Jules Rose. Don't think they said they were here. Oh, Half House Studios? What? Okay, I didn't know. All right. Friend of the Half House.
Oh.
Fire. They're like it's like if like the city of Champaign had like an HHC kind of thing. It's like Half House, I feel like.
Oh, interesting.
But I mean, that's just me coming from HHC and Hideout, so no disrespect to the Half House guys. Talked to them a little bit. They seem really cool, and they put on like electric performances and stuff. But anyways, Not at All by Jules Rose. Let's see if she got a description in here. Finished release. One piece of a full album, reprise of the song, anything at all. You're giving us the reprise of a song instead of the actual, bruh. Okay. You ready?
Hold on. Since I'm in incognito, Spotify won't let me have their music.
Ooh, damn.
All right,
All right,
let's
now
see.
what?
Hey, okay, that's saved. I just have to re-show this. And there we are. Okay, we're good.
Cool. All right, you ready? Not at all.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, shit.
The audio sounds good on the stream, too.
It's sounding good, yeah.
Wow.
Speak of times long ago.
Nice.
But I don't recall it like that.
So lush of a reverb.
You seem to remember a false path
Nice.
that never was.
Cymbals a little loud.
I don't remember at all.
Loud, really?
I don't remember at all.
Yeah, I think the cymbals and the snare are a little bit loud.
I only see stealing
Nice voice.
Slight like top heaviness maybe on the mix.
I don't remember any
Great vocal delivery, though. Oh, I like that lead sound.
The guitar?
It's synth, isn't it?
No movement to match the phrase. You were
Whoa.
just
Back?
Yeah.
Fire.
It is a lot of high mid-range content, though. Awesome vocal fill there. Love that guitar.
Yeah. Guitar and the bass sound great together. I didn't know that Half House did real like instruments too. Like I thought I knew that they did hip hop and stuff, but
Huh.
shit.
Oh,
Autoplay.
I heard a little bit of. Was that intentional?
What?
Maybe it was like a little touch there, but there was some like noise, like amp noise at the end
Got it.
for
Got
like 3-4 seconds. But damn.
it. Is it because of the stream or is everything just dead center? Yep. I think it was also everything was dead center.
I think it was pretty centered, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking vocals are too open and too loud compared to everything else. Sorry about backseating. Pretty sure. No. We're fine, dude. Like, please backseat. Please give
Crowdsourced
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah. What's funny is he called you out too. He said, "How many tabs do you have open to get CPU tear?"
I always
Because
have tabs
this
open,
fucker
but
does.
I always do, but I don't think we've ever had quote unquote like CPU tear sound on the stream, so I don't think it's related to that. I'm on an M1 Pro just to shamelessly plug, and it's only at
Yeah.
like 1/4 CPU or something like that. So
How many tabs do you have open?
oh, I can't count.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot, but they're inactive. They're
Over
sleeping.
20. Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounded crowded. Sounds fighting with each other. Yes, I agree.
That was the main thing I was gonna say, and I heard at the end there's like that synth part, which like the synth lead, that you thought
Was
was
it
a
a synth or
guitar.
a sax?
It,
Oh, okay.
there's both. So there's this synth lead part that I think sounds super cool.
Yeah.
I did think that it was like at the end, I wasn't sure if it should have still been there
Yeah.
because the energy was winding down and the sort of like rock and roll, like loud synth lead thing was still kind of there. And then when it ended, the sax was revealed to have been like directly underneath it, I think at the same note in the same octave.
Yeah.
And like that's a perfect example of like two instruments that are fighting for literally the same frequency space. Probably like spectrally they're similar too, because the sax is like a little bit, distorted, saturated type thing.
Yep.
So that was an observation I had throughout, is just that like there's the vocals and like, a little part of the acoustic guitars, as well as that synth part and the sax and the snare that are all trying to share that upper mid-range space. And it was getting really crowded up there. And I think it was made worse by just some of the prioritization of like volume levels and mixing, where the vocals sounded maybe bright. I mean, like really good. Like, is it awesome vocal performance? I'm just trying to figure out.
I was
And
trying to figure out what artist she reminded me of. Like, I wanted to say
hmm,
Cher for some reason, but I don't think
really,
I can name you a Cher song. Yeah, like I don't know why Cher came to mind,
that's
but
funny. Hmm.
yeah, she sounded like a vocalist straight like from the '90s. There's one song that
Celine Dion.
it might be Dion. Yeah, I don't know. There's like some power to her vocals. It
Oh, a
was like
lot. Yeah, and I think she's really good at that.
yeah. There's that song that goes like ah. Do you know that song? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea.
God damn it! It's probably because I'm butchering it, but she reminds me of that artist, whoever that is. I'll have
Oh
to find
no,
it sometime, but it's what it is.
Enya.
Is it Enya?
I don't
Is it?
know. I'm like I don't know any Enya songs.
She kind of reminds me of that song, the He-Man meme song, but like not the meme version.
I have
Like
no. I'm lost.
the hey, hey, hey,
Oh,
hey. Yeah. She that artist is probably a little like higher and more power, more higher pitch, but similar kind of lane. I feel like that's what I got reminded of.
hmm,
Maybe I accidentally hit the nail on the head with Cher. I'll have to check and get back to you. But yeah, very powerful vocals. I think very great sounding, and the harmonies sounded good too.
yeah.
Um, very nice choices there.
You know,
Um,
the harmonies sounded really good, but I did feel like I I sort of could feel them more than hear them at some points.
yes, I
And
agree.
I wanted to be able to really distinctly make out that there's 2 lines that are happening in harmony,
Yeah, I
and
think
I
that stereo spacing could definitely help.
stereo could help a ton,
Yeah.
and also just, like, some of the I think it may be correct that there's some side chaining happening to the vocal, which can be helpful in some cases, but it's kind of, like, healthier to make sure that there's a nice space for the vocal already,
Mhm.
and you can mitigate any issues that remain with side chaining, but it can't be used as a total like solution, I think, because
Yeah,
then when you hit those really powerful notes, we kind
where
of lose.
everybody's playing. Yeah,
Yeah, we lose the rest of the track, and it's partly because of frequency masking, but it's also maybe because of compression or side chaining, whatever's going on there.
yeah.
Um, and we want to hear all of it because I think like there's so much cool stuff happening. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think like just purely vibes wise, I really like the song. I think there are a couple of things mix wise and maybe instrumental wise that don't allow it to breathe at its full like potential.
Yep.
Um, but I like the song a lot, and I like your vocal delivery a lot. I think that's
Yeah.
the part that really shines through.
Yep. I agree. What's your score?
Um, I think I would say 70 between uh, yellow and green. But
I
that
was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking 77. Um,
yeah, that's fair. Actually,
yeah.
vibes. Yeah, I'll meet you at 77.
There you go. 77. Good job, Jules Rose and Half House Team.
Also, by the way, I'm trying to remember because it was a while ago that you sent this last one, but this is like a huge improvement from what we heard, I think, last year.
Really?
So, yeah,
I have to remember what song.
it was with there was like a violin part.
Man,
I think it was about a year ago, maybe.
we'll have to find it. We'll have to find it. That's my
Yeah,
bad. That's my bad.
yeah,
Like,
but I mean, it
I,
is definitely on the track to sounding really pro, and honestly, I think it's like you just want to make sure that the instrumental and the mixing and all of that stuff doesn't hold you back as a singer and an artist. And it's difficult depending on what you're doing on your own versus what you're outsourcing to do that because it's not cheap to have really great like producers and whatever. And going back and forth with revisions can be difficult. And that's probably a good point for feedback, also, actually, is like to have somebody give you feedback when you get back the first draft or whatever
yeah.
from the mixing engineer so that you get different ears to contribute to the revision process
Yep.
so you can get the most out of your collaboration and the bang for your buck.
Mhm.
So that's sort of food for thought. But yeah, should we go into content?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, again, I think the writing is good, and your delivery and just the song is like super vibey and spacious and cool.
Yep.
Um, the one thing that held me back, I guess this is content wise, was sort of the drums, honestly.
Mm.
Um, I think the guitar sounded great. It was played really well and it sounded recorded really well and mixed well. Um, and obviously your vocal delivery is good. And then the drums come in, and I was sort of like off put a little bit by partly the sound of the drums. Actually, I thought the snare sound was a little bit odd, kind of shrill, like a very kind of bright thin snare. It had some interesting element of like saturation or distortion, like
Yeah.
crackliness on it that I kind of thought was cool, but it was in that uncanny valley where I couldn't tell if that was intentional or not.
Yeah.
So it didn't live up to its full effect. And then yeah, just a really bright snare, and the cymbals were like right in front. It was sort
Yeah.
of like I was watching the performance from right in front of the drum kit,
Yeah.
which I felt through the whole time. Uh,
Yeah. I actually didn't notice it at first, and then when you pointed it out, I couldn't unhear it.
oh, really?
Yeah. Like I didn't think it was too loud, but I definitely was like, why is it like in my face? Like maybe that is a volume thing, but that's what it felt like to me. Like
I think a lot of sort of mid-range mixing engineers struggle with cymbals, with drum cymbals. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're difficult to record.
hey, Jules Rose figured out chat. Let's go. All right.
Hey, let's go.
Shout out
Glad
to
that
you,
you're
Jules.
receiving our feedback.
Bruh, Jules, dude, your vocals are crazy. Keep it up.
Yeah, for real. If you have comments or you want to add context or call us out on our bullshit, then feel free in the
Please.
chat.
Yeah.
Feel free to humiliate us.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, on the drums, what I was saying is just like drums inherently are difficult, and these are definitely real drums, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right about that. You're saying you wish there was more harmony. Yeah, I think that'd be
But
cool, actually.
yes, but that's what every vocalist wants. I
Yeah.
gotta say, because I'm a vocalist in my band too, and I'm like, bruh, I just laid down the sickest harmony, and they're like, dude, we gotta turn that down. There's like
I
no way. But
yeah.
I agree with you, and like I think what they could have done, we'll talk about it in production too. I think they could have used a lot more stereo space. The Twitch Rocker brought it up, but panning things way harder left and right. Because if what they might say was like, there's already so much like mid-range stuff going on with the guitar and the sax and your voice. How can we add another thing? Your harmonies. Maybe that's like a discussion you guys had, but
Yeah.
yeah. And in part that's probably true because there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff in that same range. But I do think that they possibly underutilized the stereo space a little bit. So yeah.
I think like just mixing advice for you generally would be your vocal has a frequency range, a set of frequency ranges that it lives in, and those should take priority.
Yes.
So like if there are instrument parts that sound cool on their own, but then you realize that they clash directly with like important frequency ranges that you have, you can either get rid of them and it'll just allow your vocals to shine through more, or change the parts. So, they could be played an octave lower or in a lower inversion so they don't clash as much. But yeah, I think that's like advice that might be needed to make sure there's no clashing or masking. But yeah, what were we on?
We're on content. Sorry, I just
Yeah,
got pumped that she got in the chat and like we could have this
yeah,
back and forth. That's
yes.
always the best.
But yeah, I was on the drums. So yeah, like it was weird because I don't know if they were out of time necessarily, but there was some sort of apprehension that I sensed a little bit on the drums where it sort of again hit me as like, okay, this is probably somebody who knows music. Maybe it's the person who's producing or mixing it. They have a drum kit, they know how to record it, but they're not a drummer at heart.
Oof.
Maybe it's
Maybe.
common. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
I do think that the drum pattern themselves was like it's also kind of a hard one to get right because it's a slow kind of
yeah,
like
and I was when it came in, I was like, this is almost like halftime. Like it felt
yeah
strange to me, like and it's possible it's not in halftime, like the twos and the fours can stay where they are, but the stuff that's happening in between, like maybe it was something about the rhythms with the cymbals or something
yeah
that sounded too slow, and maybe that's contributing to this like apprehension
yep
feeling.
yep
But like, and some of the snare stuff that was happening was like these like sort of weak double hits occasionally that just didn't feel like they were intentional almost. Like there'd be like a snare hit and then like a following hit that was like that's sometimes there and sometimes not. I just wasn't super convinced by the drum part, I guess. So that's the drum part and the sound and the fact that it was like forefront, like in front of everything else. At times the cymbals were so present above other things. And the snare was pretty loud and maybe a little bit on the harsh side as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just to
feel
say
like.
that you
Sorry,
don't
I
want
was,
that you don't want that to get in the way of your vocals. And I really think with something like this, a deeper snare, especially when it's like very like slow and vibey like this, a deeper snare that sounds more blanketed and has some sort of nice washy reverb around it so that it feels like it's in the back more
mm,
would suit you so much better, I think. It would just allow your vocals to breathe and the reverbs to breathe and not cause so much clashing between your mid-range instruments.
mm. Yeah, just listening back to it again.
Even like a filter swept snare where it's supposed to sound vibey because it sounds like there's like a low pass filter on it.
I
At
felt
least
like
for
that
part of the
kind of
song, could
happened.
sound cool.
I felt like that was kind of happening. I
The
was just
snare was
listening back
super
to it.
bright throughout.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I just took a listen again. I did feel like it was. There was like a lot of reverb on it. I wonder if she could do. I
Dude, that's
feel
a
like.
bright snare.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, what do I know?
I mean,
I
like
do
a
think the
funk
snare could have
snare.
more like body to it. I think
Hmm.
like more of that lower end to it. I do agree with that. I wonder if she could do like country. I feel like she has like a country kind of voice too.
Yeah.
Like, might be good. But anyways, that's besides the point. We're on content for a while. Do you have anything else?
Not really. I think again, like the playing overall is good, and the vocal delivery is good, and the writing is good, structure and everything. I liked
Yep,
it.
I agree. Wait, did you give a
Oh,
score?
she's done country.
That makes sense. I can totally
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah.
But score for content, I'm gonna say 88.
Yeah, I actually liked a lot of the content. I think I agree. I can't speak too much on the lyrics actually because I don't think that's what I was really listening for, which is interesting as a lyricist myself. But it was just more so the
The
power of your
feel.
voice. Yeah, the feel of everything. The guitar and the bass was awesome. Even though we talked about clashing a lot, I think every part that I heard, I really enjoyed. Like the guitar slash synth part that came in was a cool kind of melody, and the saxophone was like awesome to listen to.
Yeah, that's a cool
It's just
touch.
when they clashed, it's just like it was noticeable. That's
It's
all.
sort of like it's you almost have to think about it like there's a limited like budget. Well, I mean, there literally is like a limited budget for when you're like making music and hiring people, but I mean, just like you have only a certain amount of like sonic space to work with, and like instrument space. So think of that as a unit of measure, and you can't buy everything, sort of. So it's like you can't always have the high synth lead and the sax because they're gonna occupy the same exact space. You have
Mm,
to think about like what am I going to fill this up with that complement each other nicely.
yeah,
And I also he said Twitch Rocker has very specific advice. Vocals have 3 dB room to come down in volume. Maybe
I don't
probably
know about that because there is some points where, especially when everything came in, that the vocals were behind, like the mix, like not behind in time, but like it felt like the the saxophonist and the guitarist like stepped in front of you.
it was
Well,
all fighting a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but
Shows reprise since the saxophone in this on this one and not the first one. Good to know feedback on sax.
okay,
Um,
cool,
I
yeah,
was gonna say, oh, and then there's a piece that I don't agree with. Twitch Rocker said I would try to pack everything closer together. It's weirdly
no,
open. I
yeah.
don't think that's what's happening. I think like there's no
I
area
think
that
everything
things need to
should
be
spread
closer.
apart. Yeah,
Yeah, things need to be spread in the
put the
stereo field,
saxophonist on the left,
and
put the guitarist on the right.
yeah,
Same
and
with the harmonies.
EQ needs to be spread throughout the range or the parts themselves.
Yeah,
But I think the open part is probably coming from the fact that it sounds like the vocal on those long tails is potentially side chaining the rest of the track, and then it sounds like it's this big sort of open thing because we're just hearing your vocal essentially. But I think that's different than needing to make things closer together. It's kind of an opposite procedure. Um,
dude, Twitch Rocker's advice is like I cannot wait to listen to this guy's music. Like it sounds like he
yeah,
has a lot of know-how.
maybe he'll join the platform as a feedback
Yeah.
provider.
I'm not trying to like we love the feedback too. Like I'm not trying to be cheeky or anything, but like I just like you have a lot of good tips, I think.
Yeah, no,
There's some stuff that I disagree with you, but like you have some good tips.
and this is a good tip too about like turning down the volume of your track to hear it from sort of a different perspective.
Yeah.
He's saying you can barely hear the song. Vocals should not, or should sound too loud. Listen as loud as you can. Vocals should sound too silent. That's the old trick. Yeah, that's good advice too. Good for
Yeah.
shaking up your perspective a little bit and figuring out leveling for vocals. It's a
Yeah.
good
Is
tip.
it because the frequency sensitivity, like your spectrum, does it change with volume?
It's probably because your ear is more sensitive to like the vocal range, and
Yeah.
when you turn it down, you're still pretty sensitive to that,
Sensitive.
but
Got
the
it.
other areas you're not, and then vice versa. As you go up in volume, your sensitivity is somewhat limited. There's like a ceiling
Yeah.
of volume that you can perceive,
Yeah.
and so then the other parts start to come up around it.
That's
And if you get to
crazy.
that ceiling where it's not painful yet, but so the like vocal isn't like super clipping in your ears, but the other parts still don't sound louder than it, then there's like a big difference between them, and it's like you need to get that vocal to sit in the track better. So yeah, that's a good tip there. Um,
Shit,
did
we're
you
still
give
on
a
content, by
score
the way.
for? Did you
Yeah.
give a score for content?
I'm at content. Yeah, a lot of my gripes are with production.
Mhm.
I could give an 88 as well. I think that's a good score. I
Nice.
think I really liked it. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Production though. We talked a lot about production already. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think we've talked about it a lot, and
I think so too.
it is like on the track to sounding pro for sure. Like this is
Yeah, there's some
definitely
points. Yeah.
like 90th percentile, I would say, of like mixes out there. Seems like,
Yeah.
but again, it's like really being mindful of clashing and stereo space, drum sounds. That's super important for having a clean mix. So yeah, I think we've talked about it enough.
What are you at? What score?
Um, I think I would say 69.
Oh
That's my
shit!
honest score because I was gonna
You're
say
right.
65 and then I
You're
was like
actually right.
70, but it makes sense, right?
I was at 70. Oh
Yeah,
man. All
we're
right.
synced up.
So
That's
no
good.
hate, no hate to the guys, at Half House, but I'm gonna put it at 69
At least they're more
because
than halfway there.
I gotta put it at 69. If I'm that close, if my number is 70, come on, bro. Can you
You
really?
gotta. I
I
know.
gotta put it to 69. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Just for comedy's sake, but
We
overall,
do this a lot.
yeah. Overall, that puts me, I think, at like maybe like an 80. Yeah, I think I really liked your voice. I really liked everything that was put into it. Um, it's just the production's holding it back. I think.
Yeah, and she said that she was their first live band. So that's super cool. That's great. Like if you want to work with them, that they're already this good at mixing this kind of thing. Again, obviously not perfect, but that's like really impressive for being a first go at this kind of music because it is very different to mix.
Yeah,
But I would say like it depends on your goals. Like if you really want to work with them and you see them like they're really into it and improving all that kind of stuff, that's great.
yeah,
If your goal is to like try to launch your music career as quickly as possible and like make the perfect product, I would say finding somebody that has sort of tried and true experience in your genre is always going to be easier and better and potentially might even be more cost effective in some cases
mm,
where you're not going to be have to like doing redo stuff or hiring like a different person to master or a different person to play drums, that kind of stuff. So I would say like if you're trying to get the ultimate best result, I would go to somebody who's worked in your genre because they know what they're doing already.
You were
eh,
their first live band, but they provided instrumentalists. So you were just, so you were the singer. So you didn't bring a band.
well, that's great. That's like a super cool service for them
That is a super
to
cool service.
provide musicians as well as mixing, which a lot of studios do that now. But yeah, I would say again, it's just like the people who've done it before know the tricks and how to make it sound right for you.
They have the connections. That's cool, man. We love that shit.
Nice. Yeah, that's super
Yeah.
cool.
Shout out Half House. Good job, guys. Shout
Yeah.
out Jules Rose. We appreciate you.
Track total. What do we think?
Oh, I said 80.
Oh, you said 80?
Yeah.
I don't think I gave one. 81.
Damn, bro, gotta make me look like a bad guy. All right, I'll go back to 69. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
a little
wait.
far. 80.
Actually, I'm gonna say 84. I
Sure.
think I think there's like a ton of potential here.
Yeah,
It's really down to like the mixing primarily.
I think
There's
so.
a couple of like things you could iron out with future releases, but I think like yeah, this is super impressive, and I think you're on the track to greatness.
On the
Absolutely.
fast track, we would say.
Yeah. on the fast track, sometimes the slow track, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm playing Willie like way too early.
Oh, there was a weird thing with your audio just now, but anyways,
Sorry, I probably clipped, but
all
anyways,
good.
thank you guys, appreciate it. We'll go on to the next person, Welly.
Yep,
Number one
Welly's
player.
gonna be our last one, it looks like.
Oh no, we're gonna do that to him.
So yeah, we've got Welly and Mad Roads.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do this, but if Mad Roads donates $5,
Oh no.
Welly gets shafted. So the link is in there. I mean, Chris sent it. I didn't.
I know.
And
That's so
Twitch Rocker,
sad.
you're Mad Roads. You said you're fine. Okay, well, we appreciate your feedback in this. And as we
Yeah, the
said,
fact. Yeah.
we give feedback on every single track that's submitted, so you will get reviewed. We
You'll
should
be
be
first next
back.
week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week at 5:30 Central. So you'll be the first person up then. If you're not already subscribed to us on Twitch or followed or whatever, feel free to do that. You'll get notified. And yeah, we are looking forward to reviewing yours, but we only have until 7:30. We've kind of a tight timeline with that as well today too.
Yeah.
So
Damn, bro, that sounds so sad. We really do appreciate that you gave such good feedback, and I've been wanting to listen to that to your music. But
well, yeah, we'd love to have you back for more feedback, collaborative sessions, and hearing your stuff too, because we
bro,
are curious now.
yeah, imagine if we had all the people that were like giving us like good feedback at some point, like in the chat at the same time. How big of a value add would that be? That'd
I
be great.
know, be crazy.
But-
Product ideas?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wait, website? There it is. All right,
It's in the
anyways.
chat. Join if
ready?
you want to get feedback from people like Twitch Rocker.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be crazy. All right, new Welly sound, hyper pop, digicore vibes. I mixed this song as well. Looking for feedback on that. Fire. So did you produce it too? I know you've been like just lately been pumping like vocal stuff out, which has been cool, but we've missed the production. Wait, you said it says Prod Night Tiger, so never mind. Damn. But okay, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Welly, 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes it's gonna get real cold, so I always wear a new coat. No, I gotta stay focused. Get to the money, that's a must. I gotta get these dubs, I gotta get these Hondas. It don't come from luck, go from nowhere to somewhere, only going up. And my shawty ride or die, cause she think I am that one. Yeah, that number one player, and I know that I'ma win the game, yeah. Why would I give a fuck about a hater? They just mad I'm on something greater. Damn, they really mad, damn, they really sad. Like, get off your ass, go ahead and get this cash. Run it up, spin a bag on my
Paying
business
attention
and
to
my
the timing and the pots
fashion.
right now.
Turns up, but this grind never lasted. Like, whoa, and now I'm on a roll. I'm hitting all my goals, I got so much I can show you. You should come and pop out to my show too. I just wanna see if I can relate to you. I know sometimes it's gon' get real cold, so I always wear a new coat. No, I gotta stay focused. Get to the money, that's a must. I gotta get these dubs, I gotta get these Hondas. It don't come from luck, go from nowhere to somewhere, only going up. And my shawty ride or die, cause she think I am that one. Yeah, that number one player, and I know that I'ma win the game, yeah. Why would I give a fuck about a hater? They just mad I'm on something greater. Damn, they really mad, damn, they really sad. Like, get off your ass, go ahead and get this cash. Run it up, spin a bag on my business and my fashion. Turns up, but this grind never lasting.
Oh, I was just returning the cursed soda drink hat to its original owner, Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen.
What? There is no Smitty Werben Jiggerman Jensen!
Smitty Werben.
I fucking love that quote.
Oh yeah, dude, SpongeBob's so good, bro. Welly, did you
So
listen
good.
to the Trap SpongeBob or not Trap? It's the Yeet SpongeBob. Oh god, Yeet. It's called Cash Crabs with a K. Oh, it's so good. You gotta listen to it.
That's
Sam
so
showed
funny.
it to us in the HAC chat. But shout out Welly. What were you saying during the track, Josh? You say something about the pocket?
Yeah, so that's honestly that's my main feedback. Is just that like that's the main thing that I'm noticing that doesn't feel completely on the money. And like I think it's a great track. It sounds like it's well produced. It's like exciting. It's not too long. It keeps you, gripped to it. But there's just some of the pocket and like some of the phrasing doesn't sound like it's super like musical almost. Like it's just not waiting for the downbeat at certain points, certain syllables, and then those little stutters like the dut, 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 some
Yeah,
of those weren't even in time, which is weird because that's like an automation, like an automated thing.
true.
So that was my main thing is it just felt like it was kind of swaying back and forth around the beat and wasn't completely like in the pocket in a nice groove to me. But I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Dude, would Twitch Rocker just copy and paste his old feedback? He was talking about the
Yeah.
vocals are a little bit loud compared to the beat.
Yes.
So much so that it was ducking the 808. I do think I don't know if I didn't pay attention to that particularly, but I do think the vocals might have been too loud. So I do agree with that partially. To talk about your comment of the pocket, I agree. Um, at first, I thought it might have been like the vocal was slided a little bit ahead of the beat, just in general. But then there were some points where I felt it was like right on the money. So it did seem like maybe it was like a recording issue, where it was just like going in and out of pocket. So as you know, Willie, that's pretty important in this genre. Uh, Especially, I feel like nowadays a lot of hip hop and I don't know if I listen to too much digicore, but a lot of people like try to be off beat but still be in pocket, and that shit's so fucking hard. But when it hits, it hits. And so maybe there's like a sections here and there where it doesn't really hit. Um, on the stutters, you said you mixed this part. Um, I don't know about them being in time, but I do feel like they were a little bit too fast. They're a little bit too fast, and they let the part that was stuttered was like just the transient. So it's just like it was like a noise like instead of like like, which I feel like I'd want to hear more of like the note that is being uh stuttered, or like the vowel sound that's being stuttered. I feel like that gives that stutter more body instead of just being kind of like percussive almost. I felt like that with every stutter. Um, so I would even say like maybe slow down the stutters. They don't need to go that fast, and if you can pick a section that allows more of your voice to come through instead of just like the beginning of like a consonant. So yeah, um, I think that's most of the stuff. I like some of the I'll call them Willy bars where what he says like it's gonna get cold, so I'm gonna wear a new coat. I thought that was cool. That made me smile and laugh. I feel like that's a classic kind of Willy kind of thing. But yeah, it's like simple, but it's like and you know it's coming, but it's like when it happens, it just makes me smile. And the melody was cool behind it. So I think there's some good stuff here, but maybe some stuff to work on. So the beat was interesting. I don't know if you caught this, Josh, but there was like a lot of like wow, like shit that's happening like in the wideness of the stereo field.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was overpowering or distracting. I thought it was cool, but it might have been on that side where it was a little bit distracting to what was happening um, with like the vocals, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall the instrumental maybe was a little bit on the dense side, and I sort of feel like it's more acceptable when it's a shorter song.
Yeah,
There's like a lot going on back there, but I don't know. I think the information overload for me came more from the sonic side of it, where it was like, as was said, a pretty compressed vocal that was pretty loud, and that
yeah,
always sort of like makes it harder to process what's going on behind it.
yeah,
So that could play into the psychoacoustic part of it too. But
yeah,
yeah, I was just sort of trying to decipher that. I thought that the track sounded pretty dynamic and interesting though. It wasn't
yeah,
like it was like a looped type thing where it gets boring. It was like definitely lots packed in there.
yeah. I think so too. Twitch Rocker probably nailed it because uh, actually, I don't know if I've heard Welly mix and master too much before. It's been a while. I feel like Jacob, the stuff that I heard from you, Welly, I think Jacob is mixed and mastered. But if it's anything like Jacob's style, he definitely hits the fucking limiter hard. So maybe that's what Twitch Rocker's pointing out there. You haven't yet. Yeah. What the hell, bro? I know. It's because I don't think you've mixed and mastered a lot. At least, I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, so maybe that's what Twitch Rocker is saying, and that's I feel like a common trap is like the last step you do is like put a limiter on, you know, and you might not think about it. You try to get it up to like the level of everybody else's in terms of volume, but there is some subtlety there. For example, if like two things that are supposed to be loud, you know, go at the same time, it's typically one's gonna dominate the other, and you kind of have to ask like in like a hip hop beat where the 808 is king, especially in a welly beat, right? Um, do you want it to like be ducked by your vocal? Like maybe not, you know. So Sam usually mixes, but I'm trying to learn for myself. Attaboy. Yeah. So I
Nice.
think Rocker has a good point with that. This is all on vibes, by the way. So maybe we should get to
Yeah.
the other categories. But
Do you want to give a score for vibes?
yeah, I'm thinking I'm around the 65 range, and I think I might go to 69, just because it's right there. 65 to 70 is where I'm at right now. So I'll say 69 between green and yellow.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say 69 and a half.
Damn, bro, it made me look like an asshole, bro. This is crazy, but it's what it
Yeah.
is. That's for the vibes. I think the vibe. I think it's pretty wavy. Yeah. I do wonder, Welly, if you could do more supporting vocals, like sort of like like what Sire does sometimes. Like just do some crazy. And Sam does that a lot too. Um, yeah, maybe it feels a little bit dry there, but content wise, what else do you have?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. I mean, I think it's again kind of like short and simple. It's not. You probably paid attention for sure more to the lyrical content,
A little bit.
and I'm sort of trying to hear things out on the
Yeah.
production side, I guess. Um, but like content wise, again, I think like your content and your sounds and all of that stuff and your vocal delivery all sound pretty good. Apart from maybe like some of the flow feel, time wise and groove wise, just like making sure you're in the pocket, not rushing your lines out. That's like so. I think that's honestly one of the biggest things that differentiates people who are pro at doing this, right? Like when you just are on your own without a track or like with whatever track, do you sound super like appealing? Like, do people really latch on to your performance? Is it like impressive? Um, and you can sort of get around some of that with just like interesting lyrical content. But even if you have the best lyrics in the world and you're like, you know, a halfway off the bar, people are going to notice and they're going to be like, this guy is amateur sounding. And then between like perfect groove or pocket and that, it's a spectrum. And so you're somewhere like in the middle of that. And you just want to try to keep moving towards having really good feel and really good pocket to sound like awesome, basically, is what it's about. Um, so yeah, that's my main like content feedback. Again, I don't think there's a ton unless you have like lyrical feedback.
Mm, I don't know if I have too much lyrical feedback.
Did any bars like stand out to you at all?
Uh, Not particularly. I mean, the coat one did stand out. That's why I pointed it out. But
Oh, bonus points for the SpongeBob samples.
yeah, the SpongeBob samples. Yeah, I might have to listen back again because I felt like either it came in weird or like at a weird volume or something. The ending one felt better, but the first one, it like, or did it like interrupt something that you said? I don't know. It felt a little bit out of place. But I think it's a he was number one if I remember it correctly. But yeah, I don't know. Catchy hook. I don't think there's anything too crazy in terms of lyricism, but I don't think that's what Willie really goes for. Um, and yeah, it was short and sweet. I think it was decent. I think Josh's feedback on the flow, because I think that's what you mostly go for is flow and melody. Um, I think that's like the stuff that you just need to work on. But yeah, I like a lot of the stuff that's there already. Um, so content, I'm at probably. This includes the beat too. I feel like maybe 72. Yeah, 72 between green and yellow. Yeah, that wasn't on time. Yeah. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, man. Like you can't just slap a producer tag like out of time, right, or off beat. But when it's
Yeah.
like he was number one, it's like, yeah, how do you make that on time? So I don't know. There's a way you could do it.
Producer tags, honestly, I feel like you need to be careful with because it's like you want the producer to have credit and also make sure that it's harder to like rip them off or whatever.
Mm.
And this is the producer's job, obviously, but like they can be obnoxious sometimes, depending on what they are and how often they're
DJ
used.
Khaled! Bro,
I mean,
but
that
some
one
of
people
them,
know at least, right? Like,
dude, some of them make the song, though.
some of them do,
Like,
yeah, for sure. But I've
like
also heard some where
if you're
it's like,
Metro, I don't trust you. I'm gonna shoot you. Like, oh, so good, dude.
yeah.
Metro. Anyways,
Some of them, yeah. And it's like, try to create one for your brand that's not just like a little like meme thing, right? Like, make something that actually is like cool, that has some catchiness to it or some value that people actually want to hear it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's what else? Content. Oh, my score. I think I'm gonna say 65 based
content?
on comments before. Yeah.
OMG Welly. I don't know if I've heard that tag before. I've heard the little. Anyways,
I feel like I remember that from somewhere.
OMG Welly.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Production. What do you have?
And then for production, the main thing I'm hearing really is just that the vocal is a little bit loud and a little bit compressed. I think it could benefit from being slightly more dynamic and also not covering over stuff so much by being too loud. It's just kind of a block of sound, which isn't a bad thing. Like, you do want the vocal to be very upfront and have that body to it and consistency. But if you overdo it, it starts to sound kind of flat and not as interesting. And it takes away from the rest of the track, or it doesn't necessarily sound like it blends as well with the track either. So
Like the 808s.
yeah, that's my main mixing feedback. I think otherwise, like, you could maybe argue it's a little bit busy. And I don't know if there's anything you could do with mixing to alleviate that, or it's just like have less parts. Screen share just crapped up. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a good mix. It sounds like it's leveled well, and it's not like super harsh or anything like that. So props for that. What do you think?
Just remember, you're fighting a million other SoundCloud, trying unique stuff and trying
Yeah.
to do YouTube stuff.
Words of wisdom right there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I have much to add in production, besides what was already said.
There's only one Willie.
There's only one Willie's on God.
Funny.
Yeah, he's that one, right? Oh, dude, I didn't know you had a YouTube where you like post your beats. What the fuck? Put us on. Let us know what it is. But yeah, no, wait, that's not true. There's a Welly with a 3 on fucking Spotify. It's like Brazilian Welly or something. Like when we first pushed his songs.
Oh shit.
Like Welly, like
Brazilian
Welly. I don't know if it's Brazilian or like Spanish or something, but there's like a Welly, and it's like he's fake. What?
Interesting.
Yeah, bro, is that real? I don't know. Maybe he's just being a hater to other Welly. But yeah, anyways, production, I think I'm at like maybe 65 anti-Welly. I can see that. Yeah, so I think the stutters, I think, could be better. I think that the vocals could be balanced a little bit more, such that you're not canceling out the 808. And yeah, I think that's what it's at right now for me. Actually, maybe a little higher, 69. I think I could go 70, yeah. Because there isn't too much to talk about other than that. So everything else sounds pretty decent, I think. I think your vocal change sounds pretty good too, actually. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I think for score for me for production, I would probably say 70 actually. I think it's pretty good on production, other than the things we mentioned. But also just saw another interesting point here from Twitch Rocker. Good old wisdom. If you get 200 listens by using autotune, how much would it hurt to try not using it? And I think it's sort of a good point for like, I would often suggest to people what.
Dude, it depends on the genre, Twitch Rocker.
Totally. But
listen to this guy's music so bad.
Here's a big asterisk with autotune. Yeah. Autotune does not equal pitch correction. They're not the same. Sure. And like there's certain genres where people want to hear like an obvious autotune sound.
Like this one.
Or even like a slightly less, like not like T-Pain level, but like slightly less obvious. Sure. There are also cases where it's a tool. It's not like it's just on or off, right? It has to be wielded correctly. So like if you're the speed is too fast, it can sound weird or like not correct for the genre or the style or your voice. The amount of correction, like all those kind of things And yeah, like he's saying, like let it loose a bit, like that can help to let some of your vocal quality come through a little bit more. And again, it depends on the genre, but it is a good point that you may have assumptions about, like, well, in my genre everyone uses autotune and I have to do it like this. And there, again, different ways to use autotune. Also, you may need autotune for the pitch correction component, where you might actually want to use a more hands-on pitch correction tool that doesn't sound as like stepwise, and it sounds more like your human vocal, but just like a good vocal performance that's on pitch. That could be an avenue to explore. And again, if you only have some limited number of listens, maybe it's 200, maybe it's more or less, who cares? What do you have to lose in trying different things out? Even if you think like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like this, doesn't fit into the genre. It's a good point. There's like a million other SoundCloud rappers out there doing very similar things. It can't hurt to like experiment and prototype in the early days, and maybe something will catch on that you don't expect, and then you can explore that route further. But you never know if you keep making the same stuff over and over, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a good point.
Yeah, I think it's like it's just how you use it. It's autotune
Yeah.
is a tool, or like without a tool, it's like it's just how you use it. Like you can use it and like sing in a different way to get like a weird, like a lot of this, like some of the like best sounds I feel like are come from like you doing a crazy performance that's like not exactly on pitch, but with autotune it makes it just sound like crazy, like like that shit could be really cool. But I do agree, like even in like the digicore and like hyperpop, it started out as like a satire on pop and how like everything's kind of the same, and then we're just gonna blow it out of proportion and do crazy, like maxed out pitch correction, maxed out compression and limiting, blah blah blah. But I feel like there's so many people doing the same thing in that genre itself. It's like it's almost like become like what it's been parodying. Like, oh, everybody's just doing the same thing. But yeah, I don't know. So I do want some more uniquity in general from the genre. So that's not a critique just on you, Welly, but yeah, as the genre as a whole. But anyways, my overall score, I think that puts me at 69. What about you?
For overall.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah, we got to do it for Welly.
Yeah.
Welly, let us know what the YouTube is too. I want to check it out. But yeah, that's it. Sorry, Twitch Rocker. Shout out Twitch Rocker. Stayed the whole time, and we had to do it to him, unfortunately. But he's first next stream. He or she. Appreciate you. And yeah, you have anything else to say?
Yeah, no, again, thanks to everyone for listening in and joining, and Twitch Rocker for all your feedback and useful tips that hopefully will help people out.
Shout out
And
Welly.
again, maybe you'd be someone good for giving feedback to others, alongside a bunch of industry people who do mixing and mastering, just whatever you need essentially for the current stage that your project is on. We will have somebody that can give you feedback on that and in your
Yeah.
genres.
Yeah.
That's on our platform that we're developing, FastTrack.studio, link in the chat. If you want to join the closed beta, just go to the website and there's like 3 questions to answer, and then you'll be he's got cholera, in the wait list.
Wait, when I click that, wait, did you hear me cough just then?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. If I mute right now, will you hear me?
I still hear you right now.
Wait, do you hear me right now?
Yeah, I still hear you right now.
Fuck!
Doesn't your mic have a mute button on it?
Let
That
me
mic?
try. What about now?
Nope, I think it's coming through your room.
Fuck!
We're
Why?
hearing you through the room.
I wonder if this is even working. If I scratch it?
No, it's not on.
Motherfucker!
1 stream later.
I was wondering why I sounded like ass.
Yeah, it's okay.
I know I don't sound usually as good as your mic does, but when I listened to the preview of the stream, I was like, why does my
Did it
mic sound like
weird?
a fucking laptop mic? Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways.
Wonder. Anyways, it's all good. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, please join the closed beta of FastTrack.studio, and you can be one of the first users in our platform that's going to help you ultimately make the best music possible. And maybe it'll help you not end up like Chris as well.
Yeah, bro. Imagine being a fucking clown that's giving audio advice with this fucking sound of a mic, dude.
You gotta get on it.
All right, take me away, bro.
I've been there. But yeah, I think we're good on that. Otherwise, follow us on Twitch here so that you get notified when we go live. That's every Friday from 5:30 to 7:30 Central Time. adjust to your own time zone as you may.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, FastTrack_music. If anybody submits a really incredible, fucking awesome track, which we've gotten, a handful of times before, it'll end up in our top tier track category, as you see on the overlay down there. And we have a playlist for that, and you'll get featured on our Instagram. So feel free to submit stuff that you think is really exceptional and go for that. Otherwise, send us tracks that you're working on. We're here every Friday. We don't have a long queue now. We've got Twitch Rocker up next week first.
Who apparently does feedback streams themselves.
Very cool. Nice. And anything else you wanted to add, Chris?
I'm good, bro. Get me the fuck out of here with this trash ass mic.
Dope. Well, thanks everyone, and we will see you soon. Oh, join our Discord. Send that in the chat too.
Oh, it's good. I don't have a phone for that.
It's just Discord. I can send it.
Discord.
Discord. Okay. Yeah, we've been getting a little bit of traction there. So if you want to join Discord and chat with each other, I feel like Twitch Rocker, you would be great for that, honestly. But yeah, anybody feel free to join there and hit us up if you've got anything you want us to listen to. And otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Yep. Later, fuckers.
Later, alligators. Peace.
That's probably a little better. Yeah.